Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to my August wrap-up. So as you could see from my thumbnail, I managed to finish 4 books in this month. I'm also in the process of reading 2 more, but I'm very doubtful that I'll get around to actually finishing them in August, so you'll probably see them in my September wrap-up. And I'm just gonna dive in because I don't want to waste time. So the first 2 books, I'm actually going to talk about them together because they're part of a series. And the first one is Kiss of Deception, which is book 1 in the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson. And I also read The Heart of Betrayal, which is a sequel to Kiss of Deception. But I'm mostly going to focus on Kiss of Deception because obviously I do not want to spoil the second one for you. So this was a reread for me. It's a very popular series. People love it. And I can see why. I probably would as well if I was slightly younger, but these days me and young adults just do not match that well anymore. But still, there are some things that I do want to get to and finish and, you know, just see whether or not I still like them. So I think I gave both of these books 3 stars, which is sort of like an average what I give to young adult fantasy these days, or just young adult books in general. So in this one we follow Leah, who's a princess to this kingdom, and she's supposed to marry a prince from another kingdom, and on her wedding day she runs away to this small village and becomes a tavern maid. And she's unaware of the fact that the prince that she was supposed to marry follows her there, as well as this assassin that was supposed to kill her. So she basically meets 2 boys, unaware of their roles in her life, basically, as is the reader though. The reader is kept in the dark as well. And she sort of becomes friendly with them, but of course things are not that simple and they really quickly start getting complicated again, and her life is sort of becoming a mess. So all in all, I did enjoy this book again. It was, you know, maybe not as enjoyable as the first time around that I was reading it, but that's simply because my tastes have changed. But yeah, all in all, it's a good read. It's a good read. I see why people like it as much. So the sequel, I think I preferred a bit more because I think there's more happening. At least politically, Leah is in a new situation. We follow her. She's exploring this new world, and as she's realizing that things are not as black and white as she thought there were. So, you know, people that she considered her enemies are not necessarily as bad as they were portrayed to her to be, and the good guys are not necessarily all that good either. And she starts really growing up, I think, because she realizes that people are deceptive, that well, you know, life is not easy, I guess. So yeah, and again, an enjoyable read. I listened to it, which is probably the problem, because whenever I listen to books I tend to not enjoy them as much, except if I'm really already, at least when it comes to fantasy, I have to say, I do enjoy fantasy books if I'm already familiar with them. So if I already read them and I'm re-listening to them or something like that. So yeah, so all in all, an enjoyable read, but it didn't blow me away. So then I read another young adult book, and this one I read because I am really eager to buy the 4th one, just so, you know, it would match the rest of the series that I have. But I have not read the first one yet, so I figured I think I should start by reading the first one, and then I can order the 4th one. And the book that I'm talking about is Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell. This is a fantasy book again. It takes place in this world where there's some people that have magic, and Callan is supposed to be one of them. He's in this school that teaches magic, and he's supposed to go through a few trials. And the thing is, his family is really powerful, and he's basically the black sheep. He lost his magic, you know, basically, and now he has to figure out how to pass these trials without the use of his magic, which of course now he has none. So he is very conniving, I guess. I mean, he's very inventive, and can be very capable of deceiving people and using their feelings and just abilities against them, I guess. So we follow him, and as he's trying to pass through these trials. And the thing is, again, he is as he does go through these trials and as things are happening, he realizes that, again, just like the previous books, things are not as they seem. That, you know, people that he trusts are not necessarily on his side, at least when it comes to how he would view things. And there are new people that he meets and new things that he learns. And I actually really enjoyed it. It was, again, not my favorite. I think, again, I gave it 3 stars. But I'm eager to continue on with the series, so I think I can buy that 4th one now. But yeah. Anyways, the last book that I'm going to talk about was absolutely my favorite out of all of them. And that is The Fated Sky by Mary Robert Cowell, which is the follow-up to The Calculating Stars, which I read last month and loved. So in this book we follow, oh, what's her name? I always forget her name. Why can't I remember? Elma. We follow Elma, and she's a lady astronaut. She works for NASA, or at least did in the first book, and she's fighting for female rights. She wants to become an astronaut and go to space, and that is something that is really frowned upon back in her days. So yeah, but what is this about? Well, the first book is about the fact that a meteorite strikes Earth, and people are faced with the fact that the global warming is going to progress really fast because of that. So that's happening in the 50s. And the scientists are trying to figure out how to help humanity survive. And one of the ways is for them to get to space really fast. So the space war is on. They're trying to get people into space, to make a space station basically. And after that, the plan is to colonize Moon. And that would be a jumping point to actually colonizing Mars. And as I said, in between we follow Elma. She's trying to get females more involved. So, you know, why would females not be allowed to go into space? I mean, what would be the point of colonizing anything if there's not females, so we can have babies and, you know, create a proper colony and things like that. There's also a lot of racism in these books. I'm just given the era that books are taking place, and I just, well, not because of that, but because of everything that these books are, I just really enjoy them. And the pace of them is pretty slow, so, you know, don't expect to be there to be a lot of action. There are some very unlikable characters, but all in all, I have to say that I really love this series, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the next one, which I think is going to be next year. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. So those are all the books that I managed to finish in August, but I'm also in the process of reading 2 more, which I'm just going to briefly mention here, and then I'm going to talk about them in my September wrap-up. So I'm listening currently to The Beauty of Darkness, which is book 3 in the Remnant Chronicles, by Mary Pearson, that I talked about at the beginning of this video. And so far so good. I am enjoying it. It's, again, probably going to be a 3-star read, but all in all I am liking it, so that's good. And the next book that I'm also reading is Firefalling by Elise Kova, which is book 2 in the Air Awakens series. And this one is also pretty enjoyable. But yeah, again, about a girl who discovers her powers, and she then has to choose whether or not she wants to be a librarian or a sorcerer. And the fact is that she was taught that sorcerers are bad, so, you know, what to do. But then sort of her decision is taken away from her, and she sort of pushed into this path that she did not want to necessarily take. And we follow her as her adventure continues. So I'm liking it. But yeah, those are all the books that I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have read any of these, let me know down in the comments how you felt about them. And until next time, thank you for watching this video, and see you then. Bye!